The bell just finished ringing, and I believe you're all basically rushing back to class, I assume. You rush back into your classes. Yeah, the next class, nothing really goes on.
Were we on our way to talk to the D&D kid?
You
That's something
mentioned
we're gonna do.
you mentioned it, but the
yeah.
bell rang. I remember saying the bell rang. So yeah, that's one thing that you did want to do. His name is Christopher, and you did want to try to talk to him. But it's only recess right now, so maybe you can. It's up to you. When you get back to your classroom, you can slip him a note or try to talk to him in class about it, or you can wait till lunch.
We want to check this hit with him for the symbols, right? That's what we want to check with him about.
Yes.
And we all have, like, we're all in the same class together. It's not like we are split up.
No, you're the same class, and you just kind of hop from
Okay.
class to class, and it's the same classmates every time. We're going to say you're in history class right now for your subject in between recess and lunch, and it's going to be a pretty boring class, nothing of note, unless any of you guys want to do anything. Otherwise, we'll move on to lunch.
Is he in the class? You said he's there?
Oh,
sorry.
Christopher's in the class, yep. But, he came in and, he's already in his seat. Everybody was rushing into their seats and that kind of thing. So, and the teacher is pretty much setting up their stuff at their desk at the front.
How much time would we have had? Would I have time to, like, myself or whoever, make a note before getting to this class that we can hand it to him before class started?
Not really. Well, you're kind of rushing back, so unless you're writing it on the move.
I wrote the symbols down on an extra piece of paper. I'm not planning on giving him the letter that he wrote. I'm just giving him the symbols.
I was going to suggest that, so I'm glad someone mentioned it. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's okay. So would you have been okay if I took that from you, scribbled on it, meet for lunch, and handed it to him before class started? Or would you want to wait?
So you're basically saying you wanted to write a note to Christopher while rushing back to class?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have done that.
Okay, so then no, never mind.
Because, like the bell rings, usually you got like 2 or 3 minutes, not even, to get back to class, find your seat. Like 5 minutes at the most. So, you'd have to do it on the move, is all I'm saying. I'm not trying to make a big deal of it, but
That's okay. It would have been all dependent on if Gadget would have let me have a piece of paper with the symbols on it, but if he would not have, then no, I wouldn't have done it.
Okay. Well, you're in the class. Now, during your history lesson, are you going to try to write your letter now, or are you just going to wait till class is over?
No, I'm just going to leave it.
All right. So the class goes through. It's pretty boring. You're just learning about the World War II or something along that lines, and which could be interesting, But in this case, meh. You find yourself the bell ringing, and it's lunchtime, and everybody's grabbing their different book bags, stuffing their books in, and other than that, there's no homework or anything assigned. It's just, at this point, it's pretty relaxed because you're only like a day away from Christmas break, so they're not piling any work on you or anything at that point. So, yeah. So you rush out of the classroom. Or one of you planning to approach Christopher before he takes off?
Yep, definitely. I will approach Christopher as we are leaving the classroom, and it's, obvious that we're allowed to chat and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It's lunch period, and you rush out ahead of the class, and sure enough, a second later, he comes on out. He looks up at you as he's passing by. Just
Hey,
with a
Chris.
smile.
You still on for that Dungeons and Dragons game you mentioned?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Actually, I printed off some character sheets. So, if you want to, finish up your lunch early, we can meet in the library and you can make your player characters. So I can know what to expect when we're, when I go home and create an adventure.
Sure. That sounds great. Can I ask you a quick question though? I saw some of these symbols, and I'm gonna pass them the paper where I wrote down the symbols. Does this have anything to do with the game? I think maybe it came from someone who was playing the game or something. Anyway, do you know much about it?
Oh, you're gonna hand him the paper with the symbols? Okay.
The paper I wrote.
The one you wrote, yeah. So he looks it over, and he's just like, "Whoa, what are these supposed to be?"
Oh, just some cool symbols I saw, and I just thought, you mentioned Dungeons and Dragons, and I thought, this is all part of that stuff, right? I still don't know much about it yet. I'm looking forward to it, though.
It does look kind of familiar. I think I've seen something about that. Yeah, in the book.
Cool.
Yeah.
And do you have that book that you're going to bring to the book?
Do I? And he opens his book bag enough that you can just see the red tip of the book sticking in with his rest of his school books, and he says, "Yeah, for sure, we can check it out. Now, just eat your lunch as quick as you can and meet me in the library."
Yeah, no problem. I'll go. I'll go tell Tyler that's what we're going to do, and I'll see you there.
Yeah, all right. And he seems like he's very happy now. Normally this kid doesn't smile much. Kind of looks like he does in the image of the artwork there. So he rushes off, heading to his locker to get his lunch. You guys what's your plans for your lunch break here at school?
I'll do whatever we usually do, but I'm going to tell Tyler about the plans to meet in the library, so we're going to try to basically inhale our sandwiches or whatever it is we have.
Inhale is right. Everyone pretty much doing the same kind of thing?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so scarf down the food.
All right. You scarf it all down as quick as you can, probably just in the cafeteria, and then you make your way up to the library. And sure enough, in the library, you see Christopher already there at a table over by the large glass windows behind him, light shining in bright so he can see his book, and he's already got it out on the table and he's flicking through it. He doesn't even notice you come in.
Hey man, those are the books.
Oh, hey, yeah, have a seat here. I'll show you what this is all about.
Yeah, cool that everybody came, right? Like Tyler and Crystal and Izzy. I know you mostly asked me and Tyler, but we kind of all hang out, sort of.
But he kind of awkwardly looks at the two girls there, and then looks back to you. It's like, oh no, I just asked you, and I guess if you could ask, I was going to ask you to ask any friends you wanted to as well join. I just don't know Crystal or Izzy very well. I don't even know you all that well, but you're a little more approachable, Gadget.
Well, thanks, I think.
I mean, no
Anyway.
offense. And he looks up at the girls, kind of awkward. Looks like
Cool.
he put his foot in his mouth.
It's cool.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, there's lots of seats, and you can see it's already prepped 4 seats on one side of the table there, so you can pull out and have a sit down.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
sit down.
Okay. All right. So, what do you want to talk about first? The strange drawings, or do you want to make your characters?
Well, did you find anything about the strange drawings? I mean, I'm cool to do either, though. Whatever you'd like.
Yeah,
But,
sure.
Yeah, if you know anything about this, I'd love to have a look at that book or whatever, if that's cool.
Okay. Well, look at this. And he just starts, leans forward with his book, flicks a bunch of pages, and comes to this section on, dark magic and making pacts with evil entities. And it also got things about, necromancy and mentions warlocks, witches, and demonic summoning and all this. So it's you could see that's the general idea of this chapter in the book. It's essentially looks like it's for a lot to do with the villains section of the book, in the game master section. He's like, I probably shouldn't be showing you much of this, but I guess it won't hurt. I mean, and then you flick through and you just see that in a number of these classes there's like ruins, wards and ruins and weird symbols drawn throughout. And as you look through them all, none of them exactly match what you seen written on the paper, but they do kind of have the similar script about them. Like, it's a lot of them have a circle, and there's various things in the circle. So, your typical pentagram, but then there's also ones with other shapes within, like strange S's with lines through it, or like it says like it's the shape of like a dove or a raven as well within this circle confines. And then some of them are triangles. There's like a triangle instead of a circle, and like you're looking at all these different things, and it's all just gibberish to you, but kind of does have a similarity, oddly enough.
Cool. So from that, would I be able to kind of deduce that these seems to be like ruins or symbols for something, just not D&D ruins or symbols, but it is definitely that's the kind of the avenue of things I should look into going forward.
Yeah, you could think that if you want. It's definitely, like if you put them side by side, you could take any of these scribblings that you put down and put them in this book, and they would kind of blend in with the page, like the D&D book in this.
But none of them matched exactly.
No matches.
Cool beans. All right, that's cool. Thanks, Chris. I guess we're all pretty new to this because I've never played or heard about it a little bit, but nothing. More than that.
Yeah, okay, so there's 4 options for characters you can make. There's the cleric, the fighter, the magic user, and the thief. So, let's meet, and he takes a moment to go over all 4 classes. Then he looks at 4 of you and says, so maybe you guys should pick one each? What do you want to be?
I think we should roll a dice and let the dice decide.
He likes that answer. He's like, but I don't know if everyone would want to do that.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Sure. I'm not sure what any of these are. I mean, fighter sounds pretty obvious, and someone who uses magic. Thief. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know what a cleric is, but I'm sure. But each one of them are probably fun. I'll roll a dice, no problem.
Okay. So then he goes to, he's like, okay. And he picks it up and he looks at, all right. Izzy, you are going to be number 2. You're going to be the fighter in the group. So you can start to think of what kind of fighter you want to be. And Crystal, you... Oh shit, now I need a D3. One sec. You are going to be the thief.
Ooh.
And Tyler is going to be the cleric. Which leaves
What's a cleric?
Which leaves Gadget, the magic user.
All right.
A cleric, and then he, like I said, flicks back to the class and starts going over to show you, your typical, like, religious character, and blah, blah, blah. Like, you need to worship a deity. Like, I'm not going to go into detail because I'm sure all of you are more than familiar. But he, as you, as Tyler, didn't know that, so he takes the time to explain it to you.
Know anything for content, you have to explain every class, and we have to roll stats.
So they roll a d6 hit points at level 1, like we're playing D&D
class
now.
and then race.
Yeah.
I got 2 hours of D&D sub-content planned. So.
Yes.
As you guys are like head into this book, scribbling away, and he hands out character sheets, and you're rolling dice, and he's handing you dice, and like you've never seen these shape of dice before, anything more than a d6 you've probably seen in a board game. These strange dice are fascinating, I'm sure, as you guys, as the players here in real life, the first time you were handed a d20 and a d12.
What do all these do?
Yeah, exactly. And with that, there's a kind of a slam on the table that startles all of you, and you look up to see a kid. He's 1 year older than you. He's in a grade above you. You just know his name is Bruce, and he slams his hand on the desk, which startles all of you, and he's just like, "Oh, look at these nerds! Come on, you got nothing better to do than be rolling dice? What is this?" And he pulls up a chair and slides in.
Oh, why are you here?
I was passing through the library, head down to the locker room. But then I seen this, I just had to see what you losers are up to. What? And he like picks this book up and he's like, "Fighter? Izzy as a fighter? Get real, Izzy. What is this?" And he's clearly just mocking like everything about this. And he picks up the dice and he like rolls them and he's like, "How does this even make sense?"
I'd like to use my dramatic moment because I think this is important to Christopher.
Oh!
I just want to stand up and like push the book into his chest enough that it kind of hurts him, and I grab it back. I'm like, "You don't think I can fight?"
Ooh, so you're trying to do it to intimidate him?
Yeah, kinda.
Okay.
I'm a little punk.
I like it. All right. You shove it pretty hard, and it just hits him in the right spot to kind of take the wind out of him. It just, and he kind of sits back, stands up from the table, and he's just like, "Maybe I was wrong." But then he looks over at, he's like getting up and getting ready to leave, and he looks back at Christopher and the rest of you, and he's just like, "I can't believe you popular kids are hanging out with this loser." And he's mostly looking at Crystal, Izzy, and a bit of Tyler. And less so Gadget. but then he just gets up now and he's like catches his breath and he's just like, "Yeah, whatever, I got better things to do than stay here."
Then go.
Bye.
And with that, he gets up, and a little bit of his pride was hurt because he showed, you did put quite a bit of force behind that and took the wind out of him, so you still see him take like a deep breath as he's leaving the library. He's just glad that none of the cool kids or people he cares about that would see it were in the library during lunchtime. So, yeah, well, you got yourself out of that possibly escalating situation.
I'm sorry, Christopher. That was super rude. You were talking?
He obviously during that whole thing, he looked like shit-baked like any nerd would be. They could normally get stuffed in the locker on a daily basis, being bullied. But after you do that, again, as if he wasn't happy enough that, you're all like almost friends now, or at least talking to him, that glee gets escalated much higher. And he looks like you've never seen him so happy. And yeah, as I was saying, yeah, you're definitely a fighter, Izzy. He's like, I think, yeah, you're gonna fit this perfect. And then he's just like, "We got to make sure you got a lot of strength." And then he picks up dice and he's just teaching you how like a fighter needs a strength score and blah blah blah. So, well, you finish up in that library, going through. You make your characters, which if you have any details in mind about your character you want to share before we move on, you certainly can. But if not, you can just say you made a arbitrary default character like most people do the first time they play a role-playing game.
Oh yeah, I'm making the traditional wizard from anything I know about wizards, which isn't much, which is your old guy, big white beard, big floppy hat, gray robes, the whole nine.
You finish up at lunch, and you go through the rest of your school day, uneventful. As you finish up the day, the school bell rings. You hear the cheers of everybody excited to be out of school, and you rush outside. You just hear most of the chitter chatter from people as they're all leaving. They're just like, "Well, the Christmas parade's tonight. I'll see you there. You going? Yeah, I'm going." It's like a lot of chatter about the town's Christmas parade is tonight. But other than that, you all burst your way outside into the nice, beautiful day.
No, I was going to say, like, at this point, do any of us have any pre-existing plans to attend a parade with our families or anything like that?
I was going to say it would probably make sense for my family to attend.
You know for sure Crystal's going.
True, yeah, it absolutely makes sense.
So the rest of you, did any of you, I'll leave it up to you guys whether you had any pre-notions about going. I will say that it's kind of a big deal because there's like not a whole lot of forms of entertainment in 1983. So for the most part, all your parents are going, or they've talked about going.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I'm my family would go. They're pretty traditional, like close-knit family.
Tyler, you know your father wants you to go because the community and rec center actually put together a small Christmas float that's going to be there. So, he expects you to be there.
Yeah, so like I'll go. I'll probably be hanging out more with like a Gadget out there than like my own folks, but I'll be there.
Yeah, he's going to be like on the float itself. You all rush home. Are you going home or just to want to pass some time, or is there anything in particular you wanted to do?
My character's going home.
Yeah, I'm going home. Like nothing specific I need to do.
Okay.
I'll tell Izzy that I'll meet her up at the parade if she's going.
Yeah, absolutely.
No plans to do anything.
All right, so I'm not going to get into, for the sake of brevity, or however you say it, I'm not going to get into role-playing everything that happens when you go home again. It's your typical, you go home, you meet up with some of you, meet up with your parents, some of you don't. When it gets to about supper hour, your parents are mentioning about the parade. You also hear the talks of the Christmas parade on the radio for anyone who likes to put on some tunes when they get home and go in their room kind of thing, as a typical teenager probably would. So, yeah, and it seems like most of you are planning on attending, and you know that the start time is 8 p.m. So, leading up to that, after you finish your supper and everything, most of your families are all gonna go. Now, Tyler, your mother asks you, are you planning to go with Gadget and his family, or did you want her to take you?
I'll go with Gadget.
And other than that, all right. Well, if there's anything you want to do in preparation between supper hour and 8 p.m. before you all head over to the parade.
The parade's not till 8 p.m.
Yep, they're waiting until it gets dark. Yep, it's a little later. Most towns would probably do it around 6 or so. This one is doing it, let me see. Yes, they're doing it at 8 p.m. Basically, you hear on the radio, they want it to be dark because when a lot of the different floats went all out with the lights this year. So they, they're like, keep your little ones up later than usual tonight. Bring them on out, kind of thing. And yeah, so there's going to apparently be a lot more lights on the go. And you can only really truly experience that if it's dark out.
Sure. Makes sense.
Okay, just look through my items, see if there's anything I want to make sure I have with me. So I'm going to make sure I have my flashlight with me.
I'll have my flashlight that I now have in my bag.
That you stole and didn't bring back.
And
so I'll give you a chance now, if you remember, if you guys wanted to make a roll to see if there was some kind of piece of equipment that you don't have, you could use, you might be able to scrounge it up here now. I'll give each of you one chance for a roll if you'd like.
I had a flashlight. I'll like to take that with me.
Well, 3 flashlights.
And my pocket knife. I'll slip that into my pocket too with some chewing gum.
I'm just saying, like, I've got my walkie-talkie set, like, and I've got 3 pieces for that. So, I mean, I can bring that, and all of us except for one could have a walkie-talkie in case we expect anything to happen. I don't know if I'll need it.
It's just a Christmas
I
parade.
really want it.
It's just a Christmas parade, but like still a bit on edge for what happened. But no, I'll leave the walkie-talkie actually for now. But I am taking the flashlight.
Can I try and find a lighter around? I got an older brother.
Yeah, I like how they're like, we're going out. Let's gear up. Flashlight, flashlight, flashlight. Let's go.
Little montage
Yeah, exactly.
as we all get ready.
Everybody pulling out drawers and like grabbing flashlights.
Oh, lighter's a standard test.
Standard test.
You share the rulebook?
Oh, actually, it's in the
Oh,
system
no.
here. Remember? Oh no, you didn't get it. You have the worst luck for loot ever.
I do.
I'm going to try to see if I can get something. I'm going to just see what's most appropriate here. Just give me a moment. I've got an idea. Like, effectively, like, Tyler still sort of, like, reeling from, like, what happened, is trying to get something to arm himself with. So I was thinking, like, he might want to try and, like, take something that he can sort of, like, weaponize a bit, but he can sort of conceal. So I'm debating, see if he can, like, rummage in the house for, like, a pocket knife or a combat knife or something like that. But I said, like, I don't think his father would have a combat knife, so I think pocket knife would be the closest he would get in his household. Unless there's things about his parents he doesn't know.
Okay. Yeah, if you're gonna go looking for maybe Dad had an old pocket knife kicking around somewhere, you can make a test with advantage to see if you get it.
Sure.
No, for sure. You find a pocket knife. You can add that to your inventory right now. And it belongs to your dad.
There we go. So I gotta remember to put that back where I found it afterwards.
All right, I'm going to kind of, when my sister's not paying attention, swipe one of her cans of hairspray.
Is that on there, or is that?
Spray paint, if you would use the only aerosol can.
Isn't hairspray there
That's-
somewhere? I thought I saw it.
Oh, let me see.
Maybe it's not. I thought I saw something.
I'm gonna give you advantage for that because of your sister.
I was like 1980s, and there's no option for a hair product.
I'll give you advantage. I'm pretty confident that you got it. And don't forget, you can click, like he just rolled
That's what I'm
14.
doing now.
If you click the 14, it extends it so you can see.
That's why I switched to the new to those dice again.
Great.
All right, so I have a can of hairspray.
All right.
Okay, and also, yeah, that's fine. A can of hairspray will be good
Yeah,
for now.
just about one test each right now.
Can we only take one item?
Well,
No, this is just rolling to see if
you
we
can
find something
take
we don't
any
already
items that you already have. This is just trying to, in case you want to find something you don't have.
No, I'm okay with the flashlight and pocket knife and gum.
You don't want Eggo waffles. Fine, you're lost. All right.
I don't have a toaster, although maybe Gadget might have a toaster.
I have that ability to look for things on the fly in my book bag.
My former coworker just brought him to work and like they thawed out and he just ate them like that all the time. He never toasted them. Just
Really?
yeah.
Why?
And like every day he had Eggo
Weird.
waffles in
Would
his
they
lunch
be
bag.
soggy?
It
No,
would be.
No, they just kind of thaw out and kind of like a little flappy, kind of like a flappy pancake.
It's like
Sounds
chaos
so
to me.
appealing.
He
I
loved them.
mean, you know, to each their own.
So yeah.
Nope, that's just wrong.
Yeah, work had a toaster. You just doesn't like them toasted. So. All right. Well, we're gonna switch scenes. Can you hear the music?
Not yet.
Yes.
Great. Cough
Ooh,
so
that
bad.
fancy background.
Thank you. So, yeah. You all arrive with your various parents and you gather at this particular street here, waiting for the parade to make its way down. You arrive well in advance. It's just starting to get dark out. You know, I would say it's pretty dull and dark, and within the next few minutes, they're waiting for, you're probably about 7:45 as you're just waiting. When you all arrive, are you planning to watch the parade with your family, or are you planning to get together to hang out as a group of friends? It's what's your plan? It hasn't started yet. The parade hasn't started.
Or once my parents bring me and Tyler there, I'll just tell them we're gonna go look for Crystal and Izzy.
I go off and I try to find Izzy right away. Just give my parents a wave.
Okay.
Yeah, because like most of the town's here, so like especially this time, like the kids are just doing their own thing, so we don't need to be anywhere near the parents. So yeah, we'll wander off to find each other.
All right.
We have like a designated meeting spot where we have to be back by a time, and other than that, my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, like as most of you are leaving, your parents say to you, like, okay, don't get lost. And, I'll be around here. Come back to me when you're done talking to your friends. You know, this kind of thing. Like, it's a small town life in a peaceful, quiet town. It's fine for you to be running up around the streets or doing whatever.
It's the 80s.
Yeah. In the 80s, late 80s, maybe not late 80s, maybe it was early 90s, but either way, I got on my bike and I would bike all the way uptown, which is like over an hour bike ride, and be gone all day. Nobody knew what I was doing.
Yep.
Just literally came home when the streetlights came on. That was it. Like, my parents didn't know where I was to half the time. Yep.
Different world.
Times have changed.
All right, so you all gather, and it's about 5 minutes to 8. And you can hear the humming throughout the crowd as people are saying, oh, any minute now, it's going to be coming through. You all eagerly gather along the main street of town to witness the festive spectacle of the town's Christmas parade. The air is alive with the infectious spirit of the season. The sights, sounds, and smells create a vibrant tapestry of holiday magic. The air is crisp with the invigorating scent of pine. As now you hear and see the ornate floats adorned with twinkling lights and tinsel roll by, each one a dazzling display of creativity and craftsmanship. Children's eyes widen with wonder as they catch sight of a larger-than-life characters riding the floats, from animated reindeer to jolly snowmen waving cheerfully atop. The joyful melody of Christmas carols fills the air, carried by marching bands playing familiar tunes with enthusiasm. Horses adorned in decoration, their hooves clip-clopping rhythmically on the pavement. The spectators are drawn into the infectious energy of the parade, clapping and singing along. Candy canes and treats are tossed into the crowd, creating a sweet and festive atmosphere. You can't help but savor the aroma of freshly popped popcorn in little baggies that get tossed out to the crowd, and also little baggies of sugary scented cotton candy. There's various vendor stalls lining the street as well here, selling different types of like, what are they called? Apples when you dip them in stuff. What are those called again?
Candy
apples or caramel apples.
Yeah, those candy apples and caramel apples, those kind of things, and like full-on cotton candies and Christmas cookie displays, all this kind of things going down the street with different street vendors. So I'll just throw it back to you guys in case you want to say or do anything before moving in.
I would buy a candied apple. Seems like something I would do.
Okay, well, they're $1. And 50% of it goes to charity.
$1 this day and age.
It's for charity.
I'll get an apple there. Subtract it from my funds.
So you all got candy apples or caramel apples, and you're just standing and watching the rides, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, Tyler's almost sort of like starting to forget about the events that like sort of transpired earlier the week, just because maybe he just sort of imagined it a bit wrong, and like, just sort of like lose himself in the festivities a bit.
You get swept up with the holiday spirit, hey?
There we go.
Yeah. All right, so as you go, fire trucks adorned with wreaths and garland roll by, their sirens intermittently adding bursts of excitement to the festivities. All of it just transporting you to this magical winter wonderland. Now, while you are there, standing there, enjoying it, you do see a lady rush up to you, Gall, and says, Gadget's mom is kind of like walking down the street with another lady, and the other lady seems a little distraught. and then they see you, and they make their way over towards you. And, hey, kids. Megan, I keep calling her Megan, but Gadget's mom, then rushes up to you and says, oh, hey kids, how's everything going? Good?
Good, Mom. What's up?
Oh, Miss Carmichael over there, she's worried. She can't find Grace. We're just going through the crowd here trying to find Grace. Have you seen Grace?
Have we seen Grace?
Nope.
Nope. Sorry, we haven't. We can keep an eye out for her, though.
Yeah.
Do we know who? Was Grace in a previous game?
Yeah, she's a redhead.
She sure,
I was wondering, is that her?
She is the one. No, she's not a redhead. Grace.
No?
This is
Who's
Grace.
that?
Oh,
She's
yeah,
the
I
one
was
who
thinking-
won the sliding match.
Right. Yes, because yes, I remember now. She beat me at the last minute.
Yeah. And so yeah, she was the one who beat you in a race and then told you that they were having a fire down by the creek, and then she went on again. What do you mean you don't have all these NPCs' names memorized?
Nope.
I just have to consult my notes. I've got every name written down. I just have to go through my notes.
Nar one.
Okay. Don't forget, here, look, if this helps you guys, remember, you got access to this.
Oh yes.
And all their names should be on the left. And you should just be able to scroll through them all. Alright. Well, Gadget's mom comes over and he's like, yeah, Miss Carmichael's really distraught. She's having a full-on panic attack here. She's got a few search parties out looking for Grace. Yeah, why don't you enjoy the festivities, but would you mind going up and down the street, maybe having a look around? See if you can help us find Grace?
Sure. No problem.
Yeah, sure thing.
Alright, she goes back over and you hear her say, don't worry, my dear, don't worry. I got the kids on it now. They'll spot them, no problem. You know the way kids are. They'll bring Grace back to us in a minute. And the mom just seems to be like a worrywart of the mom. But other than that, you see them cross to the opposite side of the street, and they're heading down it, like looking through the crowd. Grace!
Did we see any kind of groups of kids while we were out walking around so far?
No, I mean, there's a lot of children here, but a lot of them are sticking with their parents. I will say that you do see the power trio together, Dennis, Jimmy, Victor. They're off to the far side of the street. Looks like, they're kind of up to no good. Looks like they're trying to sneak around and do something to one of the vendors. You're not quite sure. You can closer investigate if you want, but...
Around for Grace. I remember Peter seemed pretty upset when he didn't win that.
Yeah. Could we look around, like perception?
Yeah, for sure. I won't get you to roll as such, but so I just wanted to describe. So you're going to walk up and down the street, particularly looking for trying to spot Grace in the crowd. Is that the plan?
Yeah. Or are
Make
there
it search
any?
action.
Yeah. Or are there like any landmarks nearby that we can go? Like, is there like a playground or the woods or something like that around here, so we can sort of choose like, okay, let's try these locations.
This is kind of the main street of town. So other than like the town hall down at the far end, not really. It's just a lot like the background image I shared. It's just businesses down a long street. You know that in between each of these, there's like little alleyways, as you can see, and you're not sure what goes on in behind any of them. But there's nothing really of note here. This is very much a dense commercial area of town, so there's not really like not really any more landmarks than that.
Okay, so I guess we'll just sort of like look around and just see what we find. Like, I mean, I guess we need to make some checks for that.
All right. As you start to search the crowd, go ahead and yeah, everybody can roll perception for me. And Crystal, you get advantage.
That's just regular 2d6.
I
Yep.
pass.
All right. So there's only one person who passed, and luckily I'm not giving complications for perception.
So many ones are rolled.
Yeah. All right. So, as you are making your way further down the street, you do come across you, Tyler. You get a better look at what caught your eye a moment ago that Crystal pointed out that, you know, Dennis and the gang were over further down the street at the vendors. And you look over at them and you see that one of them, Jimmy, is kind of distracting the vendor, like talking to them, while the other one, Victor, tries to slide around the back and he's trying to sleight of hand a few bags of licorice. But no sign of Grace.
I'll leave the trio to their tricks.
Okay. All right. And with that, as you continue to walk down further down south, you do see one person that you know from class. Carrie.
Pilot.
The heat is on. She's ready for a race car. So she's the funniest artwork out of all of us.
Yeah.
It's like she's ready for action.
So much attitude for a tween.
But yeah, you see her. That's like the only, like, in this dense crowd. It is another classmate at least. And she is there and she looks irritated beyond, as her parent looks like her parents are next to her. Her parents look like Tom Cruise from Top Gun.
Yeah. I'm positive, despite it being like after 8 o'clock, she's probably still got those sunglasses on.
Big aviators, yeah.
Yeah.
I wear my sunglasses at night so I can.
Yeah, and she's just looking all emo there. So far, that's the only person that you see standing from your class. You can continue further down the street or do something else. It's up to you.
Fun fact, Sunglasses at Night was released in 1983.
It was written about her.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll approach her.
Okay. You see her just standing there, and you can kind of walk up to her, and she's going to be pretty oblivious because she's kind of like just looking at the ground. She seems not too impressed by the parade. It's almost like she has to be here.
Hey, Grace's mom was looking for her. We haven't found her or seen her. Have you seen her around?
Oh, Crystal. Yeah. Hey.
Hey.
And,
Hey.
And she like comes over to talk to you, and her parents look at her and they're like, they give her like a nod. Fine, you can go talk to your friends, even though you're not.
I'll
really...
give them like the potential mayor's daughter, like that perfect smile. Like nothing bad will happen with me.
Very nice. So yeah, and then she knows who you are. So then they're like, yeah, okay. And they go back, look to the parade. And she comes over and she's like, oh, thank goodness, anything to be away from. What's up? What are you guys doing here?
Yeah, well, we're just here hanging out, doing the family thing. But wondering if you saw Grace. Her mom came over. She seems a bit distraught. Can't find her. Didn't know if you've seen her.
Grace. Yeah, I seen Grace.
Where to?
She kind of looks to her over her shoulder, looks around a little bit to see who's next to her, and she's like, and she kind of leans in so only you can hear her. She's just like, I seen her with Brandon. They snuck off that way. I think their parents will kill them if they find out.
Yeah, probably.
We should go give them the heads up that there's people are looking for him.
Yeah, better us and the search party find him.
Yeah, agreed.
Do you know where they stuck off to?
Yeah, she's like, and she looks back and it's like, Mom and Dad, I'm just going to go with them for a minute. They're like, absolutely not, young lady. You'll come back over here and enjoy this with the family.
What's their last name?
Cohen.
Cullen?
Cohen. Cohen.
Oh, Cohen. Okay. If it's okay with you, Mr. and Mrs. Cohen, we're just going to hop down the street. We'll come right back, I promise. My parents don't want me to go too far either.
Roll the dice.
All right.
You have advantage because, you're popular. And apparently that follows through to parents as well because you are the mayor's daughter.
Oh, man.
But you have
That's
failed.
a no.
So
I did fail.
they're like, this is a family get-together and my family's going to be together for this whole event. She's like, make it quick. And then she's like basically being told to come right back. So Carrie looks back to you. You see what I got to put up with? My God. And she like, look where I'm pointing. And she kind of leans and she's like, if you can see, and she's waiting for a gap in the crowd and in between the fire trucks and stuff. And she points, she's just like, do you see down there by the bakery? In between the bakery and that building next to it right there. She's like, I seen them go down that way. They're probably just there.
Okay. Thanks. And I hope the rest of your night isn't too crappy.
Well, don't waste your hope on that, because it will be.
I give her a smile, and then I leave.
Yeah, she puts on her glasses. Again, there's a scream of tech. What was that show? Was that CSI or something?
CSI Miami.
Oh, I never seen it. I've just seen some memes of it. It's like, take the glasses off, and it's like there's a tiger. Was it like a sound like a tiger screaming, or is it just a person screaming?
It was like
Sounded like an old 80s rocker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so with that, you do so. At least I assume you're going to head over in that direction?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so you got to go down the street quite a ways, a bit further, and sure enough, you come across the bakery and that kind of thing, and there's like tight little alleyways that go in between, and you do see multiple footsteps in the fresh snow heading down. Well, this is not really fresh by now, it's a day old, but still, it's still there, and you can see some imprints heading down into the alley.
It's dark?
It is dark in here. There's no lights shining in here.
Haul out flashlights.
Well.
I'm also going to put my pocket knife in my hand. I'm not going to flip it open. I'm just going to keep it because I'm still not over what happened.
Yep, Crystal's a real paranoid one. Is you to see a 13-year-old flashlight in the left hand, knife in the right hand, coming down an alleyway during a Christmas parade?
Yeah.
That was
Someone's going to knock
scary.
on her door one night and she's going to stab him.
Yeah.
It'll just be the neighbor next door looking for sugar.
I'm surprised you didn't go looking for Daddy's gun since you took the gun
I mean,
trade.
I'm not like that extreme yet. Wait for
Yet.
Showing up with a hunting rifle at the Christmas parade.
it. Like Rambo. Okay, let's do this.
Exactly. All right. So, the snow crunches beneath your feet. The sounds of the parade get a little bit more distant as you go down. These buildings are fairly long, but, and the sides of them, they just got like the old-fashioned dumpsters and stuff, and there's like a side entrance to these businesses. You do see a bit of light coming from the far back end of the alley. It looks like behind these buildings, there's another small alley that will like continue to the left or right, and a tall, maybe about a 6-foot fence that you're going to come up against once you reach the end of this alley. So you're going to make your way all the way to the end?
Yeah, there's no other like places you can
Offshoots.
sneak off to, like windows or cellar doors or.
No, you're shining with the flashlight's help. You're able to further see the footprints in the snow, and they just head back and they go around the corner and to the right.
Yeah, just
And
follow
can we
the trip.
hear anything? Like any voices that might belong to either one of them?
You do not. No.
Okay.
Maybe we should yell out their names in case they're doing something that they don't want us to see.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, good call.
Okay. You yell out. Your voice echoes down the alley and goes around the corner. It is quite noisy as your voice kind of blends in with all the whoop, 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 whoop sounds of the fire trucks going off and the heavy caroling and loud crowds of chatter there. So you do shout out. Are you going to wait to see if you get a response? You don't get a vocal response right away, but are you going to wait in the alley or continue forward?
Tyler's going to keep walking.
Keep walking.
All right. So you get to.
I just want. This was more of a like heads up. We are walking to your location. Type deal.
Yeah.
For sure, in case they were like just right around the corner or something, right?
Yeah.
All
Make
right.
yourself decent.
You have been duly warned. We are approaching.
Decent. All right.
It's cold out here.
You get to the edge of this, and like I said, there's a long strip here now, so you can go left or right. You look to the left, there's nothing, just continues to go straight for a while, like a 6-foot fence to the right, and then the rear entrances of all these businesses, and it extends down this long street, and various dumpsters and trash cans and things like that. When you look to the right, pretty far down, probably about 5 businesses down, you see 2 figures, like standing close together, but up against a building. And on the rear of these buildings, occasionally, every third building has like a rear light left on. So there's very dim light, and but there is a light over those 2 figures in the far distance, and it looks like it might be them. Sure, they look, your height. Not so much as adults, but they're pretty far off. They're, it's about 5 businesses away, so.
So I guess, I think we found them. And start heading that direction.
Call out their name as we get closer.
Yeah.
All right. So, as you get down to you make it about halfway to the 3rd business, and then you shout out. What are you shouting out?
Probably just their name, like Grace, Brandon. That you?
And you can now see Brandon. If you remember, he's the jovial, happy kid that was also sliding and lost horribly. All right, as you shout out 2 of them, it looks like they were a little too close to each other, but they immediately push off. Like they might have been necking behind the old shoe shop, but they kind of get startled and they look.
Necking behind a whole shoe shop.
I slip my pocket knife back into my back pocket.
Okay. Good, you might scare them off, because right now they just see the shining light of a flashlight coming in their direction. So they're kind of startled like deer in headlights underneath this light, being like, who is it? Who's there?
It's Crystal, Izzy, Tyler, and Gadget. Your mom's looking for you, Grace. She's real worried.
She's sending out search parties.
Oh. And now they're making their way towards you when they hear your voice. And, if you shine your light towards yourself when you say that, I guess they can see you. So they just don't see a bright spotlight on them, in the dark. So they approach you and they're like, oh my God, what do you mean? A search party? Brandon's like, oh my God, we're going to be killed.
Well, if you head back now, it won't be so bad. But you're lucky we found you before anyone else did.
Yeah, just come back with us and we'll say we met up with you down the road.
Yeah.
Separately.
Oh.
We met up with you separately.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's good. You guys are... Oh, yeah, you guys are good. It's almost like you've done this before. Yeah, Grace...
Izzy half smiles.
Grace gives you a long look. Brandon chuckles. All right. So, and then you turn to head back the way you came. However, in an instant, you hear this thunderous thud reverberate through the air. accompanied by an ominous crack of a breaking of ice, prompting an instinctive upward gaze. Above you, a cascade of sizable icicles hurl down from the building edge, poised to collide with 3 of you in their perilous descent. Let's see which 3 of you get hit.
Out of the 6 of us or out of the 4 of us?
Well, there is currently... Oh, sorry, there's 4, 5, 6 of you, right?
Yep.
Okay, so there's 3 of you that are going to be caught, so I'm just going to quickly determine which of you. So I got 1 is Kate, 1 is Izzy, 2 is Crystal, 3 is Tyler, 4 is Gadget, just like the names in the bottom corner.
Yeah.
And then Brandon and Carmichael. So let's see. Let's see who it is.
Okay.
That is Brandon.
Brandon.
That is Gadget. And we can't have Gadget again, so I'm just going to roll again. That's
Stop hitting me with icicles. Stop trying to impale my character.
Oh my god!
What are you doing?
Wow.
I think
Gadget's dead now.
Okay, roll a d4 for the rest of us.
the dice gods really
just
want
replace
Gadget dead.
the four is Grace.
Yeah, okay.
And then 1, 2, 3 for
here we go. Whoops, I've got 2
like gadget. Izzy, okay.
Okay. So, as you look up, Gadget, Izzy, and Brandon, you're all kind of there in the general area as you all grouped up, but it seems like it wouldn't quite make sense for everyone to get slammed with it. So these are the people that were a little bit closer to the building. And enough so that you have to make a save test to dive out of the way to avoid getting hit by this big sheets of ice and icicles that are sliding down off the top of the roof and are coming down. All of you have to dive out of the way instinctively just to get out of it, but it's technically only these 3 that have the potential to get hit. So you can make save tests. I'm not sure, Izzy, if you have anything there that might help with that. Let me see.
Quick question. I don't. This is not tied to like any ability I have, but this is just sort of an ask. Can I, like, move, like, Gadget out of the way so I take the hit instead, and I just get hit? I don't take a save. Just sort of like throwing someone aside.
I'll let you do a reflex test. If you can do a standard test, I'll let you do it and take the hit.
Okay.
I have fleet of foot, so I gained advantage on chases and all move actions while on your 2 feet, like walking, jogging, or running. So up to you.
I think.
We're gonna test the I don't know. I feel between acrobatic and fleet of foot, I'll give you advantage, Izzy. I don't.
Okay.
I feel like you probably have it there.
Doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, I succeed at my save, so Gadget's not going to get hit. I'm going to get hit instead.
Okay, and Brandon gets clocked. All right. So, what happens? Izzy, you're unable to move. All of you dive into the snow. That includes everyone. Crystal, you as well, right? And Grace. You all just see this big sheet of ice coming down in your general direction, so you have to get out of the way. Instinctively. However, as they come crashing down, Tyler, you shove Gadget clear of it, only with enough time left to look up as it comes crashing into you. Poor Brandon he's just too caught up in his jovial laughter, and then suddenly it's just like, whoa, what was that? And he's like, he's too slow with his reactions. And with that, they crash down. You all take 2 damage. So that's 2 for you, Tyler. 2 for Brandon. And I guess that's it, right? Yes.
Heavy hit for a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to take the hit. I've got a bit more HP.
All right, so you kind of get shoved a little bit further there, Gadget, just about 5 feet further. You kind of like bang up against the fence there as he pushes you out. No damage or anything, but you can imagine he just violently shoved you out of the way as quick as he could. and you all kind of get brought up there. Now, as you're all kind of planted down in the snow, so as you swiftly descend to the ground, seeking refuge from this plummeting ice, the resounding thud of boots striking the earth captures your attention. Upon rising, a nightmarish scene unfolds before your eyes. A man. No, a corpse, clad in blood-stained Santa suit, wielding an iron fire poker with a chilling grip. The grim figure's decayed visage and gore-soaked attire creates an unsettling feeling as it washes over you. Everyone roll stress.
This is just a standard test?
Yes.
Okay. I pass.
Oh, I do not.
Me neither.
I never passed my stress test.
Oh, that is. Wow.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep, nightmares for life.
Okay, let me see who passed here. Tyler failed, technically, with complication.
What?
Well,
I didn't fail.
Oh, so Nora, you passed with complication, right? So passed with complication, Izzy fails, Gadget fails, Crystal passes with complication. Alright, so what I'm going to say your complication is that when we go to roll initiative now, Tyler and Crystal, you're both going to be on the bottom of the initiative orders.
Mm-hmm.
However, you do not suffer any stress.
Okay.
Whereas Izzy and Gadget, you must take a stress point each.
Let's click the dice.
Yes, click the dice for initiative. Sorry, I'm doing multiple things here. I get distracted. This is rolling for your initiative.
I'm going to be at the bottom anyway.
So,
Can I roll?
Play Bell Specter. I like it.
Yep. All right. You don't know that's his name, but that's fine.
That's okay.
It's the name I put on
Dead
this
Santa.
creature. All right. So now I think everyone rolled? Yeah. It's all d20 plus zeros. Okay. Perfect. So now the only thing I need to do, bear with me a moment, I need to put Crystal beat Tyler. So Crystal, I got to modify your initiative to be 9 because where you had the complication. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right, everybody. So now I don't have the other two kids will go at the very, very bottom. I don't have them on the initiative tracker, but at the bottom of every round is when Brandon and Grace will go. But as you see this thing in its right hand gripping a fire poker and it landed down right next to all of you, we will begin. Gadget, you're kind of planted down. You're kind of like in a semi-crouch position as you slammed up against the 6-foot fence behind you, and you turn around and that's what you see. What do you
Oh my god. What's that? Oh guys. What do we do? I'm gonna fumble in my bag. And my action is going to be using my quartermaster ability to see if I can find a barbecue igniter, like the little click thing that makes the spark that lights the gas.
I figured you were going to do something with that. Well, yes. Okay, go ahead.
Would have dismantled the barbecue at one point and taken the igniter part because it was interesting.
All
Please
right,
succeed. I want to see this.
go ahead and
Just a standard test, right? We
Mhm.
do these. Okay.
that is a success. All right.
Hey.
So your first action is to root through your equipment, and you pull that out.
All right. That's going to also pull out the can of hairspray. I have no more actions, but I didn't figure knowing some of my inventory, can I just pull that out as a free thing, or is that?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how drawing something would be.
Sure. I think drawing something is, well, It depends where it's to. Is it like... If it's in a backpack, it would probably take an action, but if it's just like in your person or in your pockets or somewhere easily accessible, I'd let it be a free action. But it's a bottle of hairspray, so I'm just wondering.
I would put it in my book bag, but it's a big bottle of hairspray because it's the 80s.
I'll say the one action. I'll allow the one action that you root through your bag and you pull out both items.
Okay, that's my action, but I'm mostly just like, what do we do?
And remember, you can declare an evade in this. Which...
Oh, I thought we only had 2 actions and one was supposed to be move? Or can it be 2 of any actions?
Well, I didn't think you moved. Did you say you moved somewhere?
I did not move, but I will take an evade if that is okay to do. Yes.
I'll just share this.
Yeah, because you don't need to take a move. So, I mean, you can do one of the other things.
Sorry, I was confused then. Where I thought we had to take a move and an action. Not just 2 actions.
No, you get 2 actions, so they can be used in any of those ways that you see there. Yep. So I'll just say your first action was. I'm going to say you're the only one not.
Quartermaster.
You're the only one not prone. So, yeah, you don't really need to use a move to get up. So, yeah, your first action was to pull those things out of your equipment. What do you want your second action to do?
Take an evade action. Just waiting to see what these guys do.
All right. And Izzy,
I'm never going to be the first to attack something.
You are up.
Okay, so
and
just
this thing is towering above you, Tyler, pretty much all of you. Like, it's all within close proximity to all of you, with the exception, I'm going to say, Gadget is slightly further away, where he got shoved up against the fence. That's why I put him back there.
Okay. I mean, I guess I want to try and get away from this thing, so I'd like to take a move action backwards and then draw out my slingshot and take a shot at him if I can.
All right, so half your move basically to get up and kind of scrabble a little bit away, and then you're going to take your next action to whip out your slingshot and gonna fire. So that's probably just stuck in your back pocket or something, Bart Simpson style, right?
Yep.
All right. Okay. Well, go for it. I'll let you make an attack if you want.
Okay, and that's disadvantage?
I
thought you said all attacks were disadvantage.
All melee attacks. And like any kind of attacks that you're not trained with something. Yeah. So technically, a slingshot would fall under one of these categories. I know you have it as your starting thing. It feels weird, but like to make it be a disadvantage since it is your thing.
I guess just a standard action makes sense.
Sure, I won't overthink it too much.
Hey, standard action it is.
Go for it. Standard action.
Useless.
All right. So you got a few pebbles in your pocket. All right. You grab one. You take out your slingshot. And you whiz it by this thing's head. It doesn't even flinch. You just kind of like its head twitches a little and looks at you off to the side. Now it goes to it. It has technically 4 people in front of it. So I'm going to roll. And on a 1 is Crystal, a 2 is Tyler, 3 is Brandon, and a 4 is Grace.
And just to clarify, where this thing showed up, is this sort of behind us where we were coming from, or is it where we were going towards?
Neither. Like the paths to both your left and your right are open for you to run down this alley. This guy basically slid off the roof, and when you heard the loud thuds of the footprints hitting the earth, it was that this guy jumped off of the roof and landed next to you. So he's like there's basically a building up against his back, and there's a fence up against the back of Gadget, and you can run to the right or the left to continue on down.
In which way, just to sort of get my sense of direction for this, which way is the way we came from when we were looking for Brandon and Grace?
Crystal's way, to the left.
Okay.
And yeah, Izzy is kind of like more rushing towards the area where you initially spotted the other two making out.
Okay.
All right. Yes, well, here goes. Who did I roll, by the way? Oh, it's Grace.
Grace.
Grace. Okay. All right. So you see, as it's just menacing, evil eyes just look at all of you to find its victim. It just looks with a piercing death gaze towards Grace, and he thrusts forward with a fire poker, sticking her in the guts, doing quite a hefty amount of damage, which I will not state out loud. You see it actually does impale somewhat into her stomach. Not fully through her out the other end kind of thing, but it sticks in her stomach pretty bad, pretty significant. She lets out a scream of pain, and she just looks down in disbelief and shock. And with that, I'm going to say his complication is... I'm trying to think.
It gets stuck in her. He can't get it back.
That's what I was thinking, but I'm like, that's a bit traumatic. I'm going to say, though...
Caught on like a rib cage.
I'm going to say, no, but as he impales, she spins. I'll just say, yeah, like, as she immediately gets hit, she spins away to try to get away from it. When she does, it slips loose from his hand. So she currently has the fire poker sticking out of her, and it's just dangling. It
staggers back.
Yeah, and he's essentially disarmed, but his weapon is impaled partially in the stomach. And I'll say then it falls out and just clambers to the ground, because I'm going to say, not going to say it's fully impaled her enough to the point. Yeah, but either way, her weapon clambers to the ground. His second action will be... I'm going to roll now. There's only 3 targets in front of him. I'm going to roll a D3.
Wait, who's who?
From left to right. So Crystal.
So that'd be Crystal.
That's you. Because 1 was Crystal. 2. I rolled a D3, not a D6.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking like 1, 2 is 1, 3, 4. Okay, so that's me then. Sorry.
Yeah, it's you, and then if I would have rolled a 3, it would have been the third target.
Okay.
Right? So that is you, Tyler, right in the center. Okay, you now see he is trying to grab you by the shoulders at the same time as he's coming in for a bite.
So I do get an evade test because we are hard to hit. Did Grace get an evade test, by the way?
Grace? She did not, but I forgot, so it's too late.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's sort of done, but yeah. I was assuming she would still get those benefits. Oh, what were those? Oh, okay.
That's his roll to attack you.
Okay, and I just do this with 1d6.
Yes. Unless you have a trait that says otherwise.
I'm pretty sure I don't. No.
So, he grabs you by the shoulders at the same time as he lunges forward, and he bites into the cheek and neck of Tyler. And when he pulls back, just blood sprays out. That is going to be... So, 2 damage.
Okay.
2 damage on you, Tyler.
Good thing I'm me and have that extra health.
Yeah. And, of course, he doesn't have you grappled or anything. He lets go as he pulls back, and a spray of blood arcs in the air, and you just see this red spray go across the white powdered ground. And
Tyler's just, yelling madly.
Okay. Moving on to Crystal.
Okay, for one action, I'd like to take out my pocket knife.
You're lying prone right now, face down. Well, face up. You looked up at this horrific thing, but you're still lying prone.
Okay, so I still want to do that.
Yep.
And then my other hand, I should still have my flashlight. I like to shine it in his face and maybe attempt to blind him.
No? Okay. Give me I'm going to make that a save test on his part. Because not going to be so much of an attack on your end. It's more of a saving throw on his end to resist the blinding effect. Let's see.
Sorry, I'm laughing, and probably no one else gets this because I'm thinking of Dead by Daylight.
That's my inspiration.
I know. It's like Blind the Killer.
Blind the killer. Give us a chance to get away.
I never played that, so I don't know, but okay.
I never played it. I watched my kids and Nick play it all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. You shine it, and you just see, as you do, the creature's eyes just go, and it seemed to have startled him and had some type of effect.
Okay. And then that's it for me.
And you use your other action as a move to kind of get up. Oh no, you took your.
I
pocket
took
knife.
my pocket knife out, so I'm kind of like holding it in front of me.
I won't make that be an action to take a pocket knife out. That's easily accessible. It's a little knife in your pocket. It's not like you had to root to a backpack like Gadget, be looking for a igniter switch inside of a backpack full of gear.
Okay. All right, then yes, I will attempt to. I don't know if there's if there's an action to stand up and then another one to move, but I'd like to at least start the process.
Yep. So you can get halfway away, just like Izzy did, up and a little bit away. Sure enough. And sorry, Tyler, it is your turn. As blood trickles down, and you stare up at this figure looking down at you.
I'm not there. Sorry, I'm not down, but I've got blood gushing out of my face. What is he doing? Does he seem like he's in a bit of a daze from like, the little flashy light that got stuck in his face?
It looks like it had some type of effect as his head whipped back and it's shaking to the left and right. You're not exactly what mechanically that's going to do, but it seemed to have done something.
Okay, let's see. I'm debating one of two things. I would like to use one of my actions to pick up the fire poker. Because that dropped nearby, you said?
Yes. You can.
Okay.
Your first action can be to scoop over and pick up that bloody fire poker at the feet of Grace.
Yeah, and I want to try and knock him in the head with it.
All right.
What? Just to try and while he's sort of in whatever days, whatever effect, I sort of want to sort of amplify it and get one good crack in. This is just the adrenaline pumping. Pretty much his face is bloody at this point, but I'm going to attempt to make a strike at him. Now, my question with this is: does this count as an improvised weapon?
Yeah, it is. Fire poker is not really something you get weapon training in. So
just wanted to confirm for this thing, because I do have a thing with improvised weapons, so I didn't want to game it. So I'll get advantage on this attack. Okay. So I'm gonna make an attack on him.
Wow.
Oh, that's a hit. Almost a crit, but it's a hit.
Sure enough. So I believe with that, you would deal. The weapon would normally do 2 damage. So it's just like if you were to swing it, and anyone was, but yours, I think, it only gets +1 if it breaks, right?
It's only the +1 if it breaks, which in this case it wouldn't be that it broke, I wouldn't guess, but more so I lose my grasp on it. It's if I roll a 1, I could deal an extra damage effectively.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
But I didn't roll a 1, so it's just going to be just regular damage. I just don't have the advantage on the attack. And as I sort of smack him up the head, I'm just yelling out, go! Get out of here!
And as you do, part of this old, long, white hair and beard gets hooked into it along with part of the cheek, and it just rips, and this dark, very dark, sticky blood just goes along with it as a chunk sprays across the side of the brick building.
That is disgusting.
It's pretty horrific to see. And that's your 2 actions, right? Gadget, to the top with you.
All right, I'd like to use my cinematic moment if I could.
Okay.
Whoa.
All right.
Basically, what you're going to see is Gadget has pulled out the hairspray, and he's pulled out the igniter, and he's also whipped out something to bind the two together. So he's actually attached it up to the top of the spray can with the wires that would be normally where the igniter is, kind of going up about 2 to 3 inches from the nozzle of the spray, so that it's already at a misty wide area. So basically, I can one-hand this thing, push the spray, click the trigger, and the spark should light the hairspray. And I'm going to run up when Tyler gets bitten and go, Tyler, no! And I'm going to try and spray can fire his entire face, beard, and hat area. Hopefully some of that's fake and goes up really quickly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, someone
Like
else
a
gotta be super
flamethrower.
flammable.
But because
I love it.
I'm not exactly, the bravest guy. I'm just like running up. I'm doing all this, and then I'm going to run
You're gonna
away. Just getting distance.
What I'm
from
essentially saying is you're going to have to move to get in position just to hit him, because you were behind Grace and Tyler, who were standing in front of you. So you were like about 10 feet away or so. 10.
He was able to take swings at me, though. I was
No.
part of the dice roll when you were saying he could either hit you, or you. I thought.
No, I never had you a part of it.
Okay. Well, either way.
It was Brandon, Grace, and then everyone else except you. Only time I rolled for you was when it's sliding ice off the rooftop.
All right. Well, then I'll move up next to Tyler. I can move a little bit up and then still move away, right? You got enough movement for that.
I'm not sure in this game if you can do move, action, move, or such, but it's fine. I'll let you do a drive-by burning if that's what you want to do.
I mean, it is my cinematic moment, and I only get one of them.
So
Yeah,
essentially,
to make more sense, I'll just sort of interject this to see if this makes sense. Where it is a cinematic moment, if he gives you some sort of signal to duck, can I move out of the way while he steps forward? And as I move out of the way, just the flamethrower goes straight off, just to sort of make this look a little bit more appealing.
Well, I was just thinking you're only going to get no more than 5 foot, so you're going to have to be in melee range to pull this off. It's not like you got a 10-foot flamethrower coming from a hairspray can.
That would be amazing.
It is the 80s, and it's in a lot of hairspray.
It's the 80s. So the way I picture it is more or less you're going to have to
I know, I get it.
Extra volume.
Yeah, that's why I was saying the spray 10 feet over the head of Tyler.
I wanted to go up to his face and,
exactly.
do it close up and then kind of keep going.
For sure.
I can do it as a drive-by.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, sure enough, you rush up to the side of Tyler, and as you're running, you stick the spray can up, you stick it up towards the face of this thing, and you let it rip, and a big burst of flame this shoots out in front of you. Now, it's the same as if you rolled triple sixes. So, I'm going to say, I'm going to let that deal 2 damage, but also... Who did I have targeted? Oh, shit. Okay. I'm going to let that do 2 damage, as well as a lingering effect of igniting him. So, you see, as you do that, the Santa hat, his suit appears to be made of a kind of a thicker leather, but his old beard and some of the tufts around it and that hat on his head and that kind of thing, you just see parts of it start to melt and singe and essentially ignite. And then you can continue to run. I'll say you can get a little bit further than Crystal if you'd like.
Yep, I would.
Okay. Izzy, you are up. As now you look over at this horrific-looking, undead Santa-looking character beginning to ignite on fire. His eyes kind of roll back in his head from a flashlight. Part of his jaw hanging off.
Shouldn't have taken us on.
Okay, and the other 2 kids are gone, right? Are they still here in the
Oh,
mess?
they're here. Oh, sorry. At the bottom of the round, I was supposed to say what to do.
Oh, right.
So I will say that Grace just stumbled off, and she's basically adjacent to you, just stumbling, holding her stomach in shock, moving at half movement, and she's just looks like she is about to collapse. Actually, I'm going to make a test for her. I'm going to make a test for her. All right, she's barely holding it together as she's holding her guts and stumbling away. And Brandon gets up, and I'm just going to see how brave this kid is. But is not. Because I roll away. So I'm going to say he's brave enough that he's going to go over and try to assist Grace. So he's like now picking up Grace and trying to assist her. So they actually move a little bit past you, is he? So they're like over about here somewhere as he's trying to help drag her off. Yeah, but with the one, they slip and fall right here. So he's able to stay in the fight, not panic and scream for his own life. So he's assisting Grace, but he also fell prone. Has slipped on some ice in his panic. But it's up to you what you want to do now.
He's still in melee with Tyler, so I think my first action is going to be a pull back and take another shot with the slingshot. Yeah.
Whip him in the head with a rock. All right, that does A damage. As the rock, where you hit him? Right in the forehead or something? It's only 1 damage, so probably a solid rock dings his head, causing him to it's almost like he didn't have a chance to flinch or even see it coming. What do you want your second action to be?
Could I get a yell over to the other guys and tell them we'll meet them on the street and they should go that way, and I'll take these two and go the other way? Because we got to get away from him.
Okay, so you want to assist those two to their feet and start slowly moving along?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure enough, you get a little bit further because you got to go help two of them up off their feet, and then you make it a little bit further down the alley. All right. Well done. It goes to it. It stands here with only one kid in front of him. But as he ignites up around, I'm going to say at the start of each of his turns, he's taking a point of damage right now as part of his costume and beard is ignited in flame. So he just took a damage. But he seems unfazed by it. He's showing no signs of pain. No screaming, nothing like that. Something out of a zombie horror film here. Seems like it's the things you're doing seem to be having an effect on the body as such. But other than that, no other response, with just a look in its eye that it wants to kill you, Tyler. You have its fire poker, right?
I do.
Yeah. So he is. I'm going to see if he. First, I'm going to look around. I'm going to roll a luck test for him to see something. He is not lucky. All right, because it would have been a more damaging thing to you.
Yeah.
So,
because keep in mind, he had the flashlight, which he failed against. He's on fire.
oh, I know. I was just seeing for something else. He was going to look around for something in the briefly just to see if he's lucky.
Improvised weapon.
An improvised weapon here in the alleyway, but there
Ted is a dirty fighter.
Oh yeah. All right. So with that, instead now he is going to throw a low punch, like just going for a gut punch, but with tremendous force. So let's see if it's going to hit. Oh, sorry. I meant to roll with disadvantage for this attack, so I'm going to re-roll. Oh, wow.
Still hit.
Okay.
So I got to roll to evade.
So it looks like the flashlight seemed to have temporarily blinded him for an action. So that's what that was. It caused this next action to have disadvantage. So despite being blinded, I managed to roll a 6. So
Okay, so I'll do my evade, but depending on how much damage this does, I might be down. I failed, so I'm taking the damage.
All right. It is 2 damage.
I'm 0 HP.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. 1, 2. As you see this punch to the gut, Tyler gets sent back with such tremendous force that he gets brought up against the fence and slumps down. And this thing's head then snaps towards 3 is left. He's looking in the direction of Crystal and Gadget as that's going, and then he picks up his fire poker and begins to walk after you. Actually, no, picking up that poker would probably take his action. So yeah, he bends over and picks up the poker as he stands above Tyler's body, and then his head snaps to the left towards Crystal and Gadget, and he's looking like he's going to pursue in your direction. And with that, we go to Crystal.
Okay.
I would like
Can
everyone to
I-
make a stress test who just watched their friend get punched in the guts and part of his neck ripped out. His jaw. It's a
Do I
pretty-
have to make stress test, or am I just unconscious?
No, not you.
Oh no.
I might just be dead.
Okay, what do we got?
Oh my god.
Clicking
We
on
all
the thing.
need to fail this.
Everyone
If you
failed, except Gadget failed with a complication.
Izzy didn't fail.
No, I know. I was getting down to that one. Izzy, pass. Izzy, you're good. Crystal, Crystal, you take 1 point of stress.
Okay.
Gadget. So with the complication, essentially, you find this extra horrific, which is fitting, as your best friend just went down. So you take 2 points of stress, whereas Crystal, you take 1. Izzy, you're holding it together. But Crystal, you're up.
So I would like to use a cinematic moment
Okay.
to charge at this thing,
Oh.
screaming with my pocket knife out, with the attempt to gouge out. I probably only do one of its eyes.
Just run.
Okay.
No, you're down.
You do a move.
Doesn't matter.
And you move
Yep.
up to here. So your second
Yep.
action is lunging through this air with a pocket knife. All
Yep.
right, go for it. Make
All
so
right.
this is you guys are not trained in this, so it's at disadvantage.
Okay, even though it's my cinematic moment.
Oh, sorry, it's cinematic moment, so that's the same as triple
Yes.
sixes. Yes. Well done. All right.
Filling
will
all
you
out.
describe to me how you rush up and do this?
I see Tyler on the ground and my body, like just adrenaline, and I'm just like in shock. And then I look up at the Santa and I'm like, no, this is not happening. And I just take out my pocket knife and I scream at him and I just rush at him. And when I go to get him, I hold onto him with one hand and I use the momentum to bring him forward. And at the same time, I'm using my other arm to bring up the knife into his face.
All right.
Pretty close.
Okay. You stab him right in the eye socket. The blade goes right into his left eye, and it's sickening as it just. For the weak-stomached Crystal, you've never had to.
Yep.
As if this creature is not horrific enough. It's your first time experiencing ramming a knife through something's eye, a humanoid's eye, as it sinks in deep with the sickening slush sound, and you can see it did the damage. Of course, you're not getting no pain response from this thing, but
No.
it did a significant amount of damage, as well as permanently impaired it in another way, I will say, due to
Okay.
having a knife in one of its eyeballs.
Okay, that's it for me.
Okay, Tyler. Now, if
Hey,
you'll excuse me for a moment, apparently I need to look up
Well, I
death.
was looking to see what happened. So this is death and dying.
all right,
So when you start your turn in combat at 0 toughness, which I am, reduce your stress by 1. So I have all my stress. So I'm just going to lose 1 stress, and then I can make a save test to stabilize myself. So it looks like it's a standard test. And then a successful test will bring my toughness up to 1 and ends my turn. And if I fail the save test, then the following turn, just do the same thing. Just pretty much lose a stress, make a save.
Okay, so you mark off your stress.
Yeah, because you only start dying when both your toughness and stress is at 0, and then you get one final chance to make a save before you die. So I've got a lot of stress, so this is good. So I'll make my save.
Failure.
I fail, so I'm still on the ground.
That you are, and you are unconscious. Gadget, back to the top. As you're dashing down the alleyway, you turn and look back as you just hear a Crystal scream and lunge through the air. Impaling this thing in the eye. What do you do?
I have to turn back. So I'm going to run back next to Tyler, who's on the ground. Drop down. I'm going to yell out for Izzy and say, Tyler's hurt. We need help. And I'm going to take out my bandage that's in my inventory. I have a large bandage, if you remember, from they gave me at the ski hut or the sliding hut place that I never used. I'm going to put that on his neck where he was bit to stop him from losing any more blood. And that is my actions.
Okay. Let's give me 1 sec. So aiding another with a healing test. Additionally, instead of a save test made by the person affected, you could allow another character administering care or first aid to make a save test for the character in the form of making a healing test. Healing test is made.
Yeah, I was just looking up the same thing. So if he wants to use his action, he can make a healing save test on me, and if he succeeds, I'm up to 1 toughness, and my next turn I act as normal.
Now,
I can try as part of putting the band-aid on.
Yeah, I remember reading somewhere in here that it said like you can't just slap a band-aid on something, but I kind of like it for now.
But I'm not, I'm not doing any kind of CPR or anything yet. I don't know what, I haven't really assessed him, but I am trying to stop the bleeding from his neck, so I don't know if
it looks like this situation only comes up when you're unconscious, though. Like, specifically, like, verbatim, while you are unconscious, an ally can attempt to stabilize you by making a healing save test as an action on their turn, provided they are adjacent to you. On a success, you are restored to 1 toughness, and your next turn would start as a normal turn. Additionally, any items or abilities that could potentially heal you while you're unconscious, such as the healer trait or medicine, can be used by allies to bring you back from the brink. So that's verbatim.
Yeah. All right. So with using your band-aid, so it says you have to make a test. So
Sure.
Is that with regular or disadvantage? Just let it be a standard test, I guess.
Well, I don't have any healing traits or anything, so I'm not sure how.
Yeah.
No, a healing trait.
I guess it would just be a standard.
Yeah, would have bumped it to advantage if you were trained in it. So.
Okay. So just standard. All right. See what happens.
Because remember, yeah, there we go. Okay, so you pass.
That's a good band-aid.
It's a good band-aid.
It's a good band-aid.
Get the big band-aid. It covers most of your neck.
Sure enough, you go over and you stabilize your dying friend to the best of your ability by patching him up with a band-aid from the blood coming out of his neck. Looks like the hit to the chest was obviously more internal damage, amongst other things. And some of it was like you got cracked on the top of the head from the falling ice as well, so you're bleeding up there. Yeah, but you stabilized him. Well done, Gadget. Izzy, you were up.
Okay. Is speaking an action?
No.
Okay, I tell the 2 kids to go and get help, and I'm gonna stay here and line up 2 more shots on Creepy Santa.
All right, go for it. Ooh,
Oh, no.
Complication.
Oh, so many ones.
As you reach into your pouch, you realize, no, you didn't bring any more rocks. You don't have anything else on your person to use as ammunition.
Okay.
So wasted an action, and you reach back for, and you're like fumbling in your pockets, thinking for sure you had more rocks on you, more pebbles stuffed away somewhere, but you do not.
Is there a stick or something around I can use? 'Cause I'm pretty hurt. If I get near Santa again, I'm gonna go down.
You're further up the alley because the area over where there's no improvised weapons. Santa already looked for some, and but you can do a luck test. So roll 2d6.
Probably like a garbage can lid to use as a shield or something.
Nope.
Nice.
No, it seems like there seems to be no other improvised weapons up that way either.
No.
Just like a big dumpster, but nothing that you could wield, right? No trash cans or nothing like that. It was just like the big things, so nothing that you can wield as a weapon. So.
Okay, that's it.
And you're gonna continue to rush out with the kids?
No, I'm gonna stay.
Are you going to stay there? Okay. All right. It goes back to this thing. Now, as the fires burn on it a little bit more, and then the fires it seems to like cinder and go out. It did another point of damage, but the fire on him goes out. This thing, now, its body looking heavily beaten and burned, it looks down to you, Tyler, and begins to lean over, looking like he's getting ready to finish you off or do something to you. But now, amidst the festive cacophony of the Christmas parade echoing throughout this alley, you hear the vibrant sound spill from the bustling streets, accompanied by the festive symphony of Santa's sleigh, jingle bells, jubilant cheers, and resounding "Ho, ho, ho, Merry Christmas!" echoing through a megaphone coming from the streets out in front. This monstrous figure before you briefly twitches, and with a distorted, youthful voice declares, "Finally! Time to go!" And its head is twitching, its arm is twitching, and in a swift motion, the creature effortlessly vaults over the 6-foot fence using a cinematic moment, disappearing from your view amid the vibrant sounds of the holiday celebration. Over a 6-foot fence, and you hear it just land on the other side, and a footsteps of running. Sorry, not so much running of, well, walking. We'll say we're temporarily out of combat, unless you're going to try to climb the 6-foot fence and pursue. That's up to you. If no,
No.
I'm going to say the
rush over.
To Tyler.
Yeah, we'll get Tyler out onto the street, like help him up.
I'm conscious now, but like I'm hurt real bad.
I can. Oh no. I'll go get help. Stay here, and I'm just gonna run.
Okay, you're booking it back towards the street.
Yeah.
What are the rest of you doing?
Helping Tyler up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like despite like the bandage on, like that wound is like heavily bleeding through, like just leaving like a red stain where my face was on the snow on the ground.
And you can still see blood trickling down from inside the bandage and coming down in front of your face and dripping off the edge of your nose from the icicle hits from the top of your head. Yeah, you're in pretty rough shape. You blacked out there for a minute and everything. Now, Izzy, you turn around, you see that Grace and Brandon cut and turned up an alley and are headed out towards the main street.
I'm going over with Tyler and Gadget. You took a real big hit. You okay?
Yeah. I'll live. What was that? Just sort of like got his hand like just over his cheek, just sort of like trying to keep the bandage on his face, which is starting to slide off with all the blood.
We need to get you to a doctor, man. We can't talk about that now. We have to go.
Let's not stay here.
That and yes, yeah, there's a Santa zombie thing. I don't know what that was, but I've never seen nothing like it before. But you're bleeding, man, and I don't know what I'm doing. I just slapped a Band-Aid on you. We got to get you someone to get this looked at.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Izzy, help me walk him out.
Yeah. So we'll like go side on each on him and walk with him.
Okay.
I'm not much help here. I'm very short.
So, Tyler's getting his ass handed to him in this campaign.
I'm trying to play
still.
both Christmas music and creepy music at the same time. Oh, you just can't hear it. Alright. Yeah, you kind of can.
It's not gonna like right now. I feel like Tyler's still sort of slipping in and out and is doing his best to sort of stay awake. But just because, like, when he sort of like regained consciousness and saw this sort of Santa sort of leaning in, attempting to finish him off before he went off, you said it spoke with like a child's voice?
Yeah, it sounded like a youthful voice. Not something you would expect to come out of it. And it was kind of a little bit distorted, and like you could see that it was like suddenly started twitching. Its head and a bit of its body started twitching the moment that voice was coming out of it.
Yeah. And did you say it said like finally it's about time?
Finally, time to go.
Time to go. Okay. And just sort of like as like Tyler's just like quietly like in a daze, did the voice sound familiar?
Well, you can all roll a test. Everybody was you're all in earshot, so roll a. I'll make it a standard test. See if you can get any.
I'll take disadvantage because I'm in such a daze. It makes sense.
Sure, that's a good call.
One. I think I got enough complications. Like more blood spurts out of my cheek.
So, and Crystal, are you gonna roll or?
No, I'm not there.
Oh, yeah, but you were there, but that's fine. It's not on your mind right now. So, but Izzy, it is on your mind. And sure enough, I assume, like Tyler, you probably said something like, "Who does that sound like?" or something, right?
Yeah, sort of bring it up, like, who was that kid that spoke through that Santa?
And with that, Izzy, you do recognize the voice. You feel like that was the voice of Henry.
Sounded like Henry.
Hey. Did Henry turn into a Santa?
I think so.
Oh, that's weird.
Am I gonna turn into a Santa?
No, definitely not. We will not let that happen.
Like, Tyler's just sort of like wide-eyed, and like his eyes are just sort of like he's just trying to keep them away because he's just sort of like talking and slowly walking out of the alley.
All right, so Crystal, you burst out into the streets as you see Santa Claus. Going down. You have to do a double take because after just seeing that horrific Santa Claus, now you see the jovial one on a sleigh being pulled by fake reindeer.
I feel it's worth the stress, even though it's the real Santa. I would probably screw everyone over by suggesting that. It just seems like a thing.
I would like to look for Gadget's parents.
Okay. You rush up the street, and after a moment, yeah, sure enough, you see Gadget's parents there.
Westcott is their last name, right?
Whitaker.
Or Whitaker, sorry.
I'm Westcott.
Sorry. Mr. and Mrs. Whitaker, please, you must come with me, please.
Now, at this point, I'm going to say you only see the father because
okay.
Megan is out searching for Grace right now. Who knows where she is. But you do see Earl Whitaker, who, is a science teacher in your school, so you're familiar with him.
Okay.
And
so yeah, I'll tell him to come with me.
He sees you're clearly in a state of panic, and certainly, Crystal. What's the matter? As he's rushing along with you.
Tyler was hurt, and so was Gadget.
Oh my God! All right, let's go. Lead on. What are you kids up to?
We were looking for Grace, and then this man, he attacked us in the alleyway.
Oh my God! What are you doing in the alleyway?
We were looking for Grace.
Oh my! And clearly upset, but right now he's more concerned with the safety of the children. So he has a mix of emotions when you hear a man is attacking children in an alleyway. And he's not the
I didn't want to go out and say like zombie because
Me too.
he's not the biggest brutish of a man either. He's actually pretty small framed, you know.
I figured he might be the least one to freak out.
Yeah.
He's also a teacher and knows all the students.
Yeah.
So, as you rush down now at this point, as soon as at the edge of the alley coming back into the street is Tyler and Gadget and Izzy. You emerge at the same time. As Gadget, you see your father running alongside Crystal. And Earl says...
Tyler's hurt.
Oh, and he rushes up. It's like, son, are you okay? Oh my.
I'm
he's
fine.
looking
I'm
at
fine.
you.
Some crazy guy dressed like Santa bit Tyler in the neck. I put a bandage on it, but he needs to go to a doctor.
Sure enough, when he said son, he was actually like saying it towards Tyler in the way that you would say that to a younger kid.
Of course.
But yeah, you still say that. And yeah, with this, he just assists you, Tyler, with his geeky man strength. which is still more than a 13-year-old child.
Yes.
I would hope so.
Geeky man strength.
Aw.
You know, he's like that skinny guy from all the movies in the 80s, like in Ghostbusters. What was that guy's name? The nerdy
Rick
guy
Moranis.
that did the taxes and everything. And
Rick Moranis.
Yeah, that guy.
the same person who plays the father in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Well, he's that size, right? So you know. But sure enough, he rushes you all out to the street, and there's obviously some people in the crowd are like looking at you all in a bit of shock, and like the parade is still going, but anyone who sees this is kind of like horrified as a bloody kid gets dragged from the alleyway. You see a bit of commotion up ahead as well, as at this point you see, what's his name? Was it Bradley? Let me see now. Brandon, yeah. You see Brandon, it's close. You see Brandon now literally dragging and trying to carry Grace, who is unconscious, out from the edge of the alley, and a bunch of like adults now swarm around and seem to be assisting them as well. Well,
Dad, wasn't there a fire truck in the parade? Like firemen, right? They're all emergency medically trained.
and with that, he gets up, looks around, you all look around, and that passed by probably about a minute ago, so you see it much further down the street, but it's going very slow, you know, like they would in a parade. So he says, good thinking, son. Do you one of you want to go get them?
I can go.
Catch up to it.
Okay.
All right. So Izzy, you start sprinting, zigzagging and weaving in between the crowds, and you're really good at running with your fleet of foot.
Yep.
So you are definitely the best one for this task, as you weave in and out, and you make your way up to a fire truck float. A lot of firefighters on there, and they're just waving, you know. They got a tree stuck on the back of the thing, and they're just waving to the crowd.
Hi, I'm really sorry. My friend is hurt. Can you please help, or send someone to help? I'm like pointing backwards and looking frantic.
One of the men jump off the side of the truck as it continues to slowly roll ahead. He's just like, little miss, what's wrong? What kind of injury?
He got attacked on the neck. A man attacked us in the alleyway, and he was bleeding really bad.
Oh my god, come with me. And he like rushes over to the side of the truck, hops back on it, opens up a side compartment, and fiddles with something for a minute and pulls out what looks like a first aid kit. That's in one of them side compartments on the truck. And then closes it back up again. He's like, take me there. And
Right.
he starts to rush with you. And yeah, you lead him back. And with that, the firemen and Izzy return. A bit of crowd is starting to form as you're a little concerned for this two different little children that come out of two different alleys bleeding. But he rushes up and begins to do what he can to professionally apply first aid to you. He also whips out a radio and calls in for some help. And with that, some time passes by. He once he helps you out, before any kind of ambulance or medical team can get through this dense crowd and blocked off streets, he also has the time to rush up and look at Grace as well, and help with her blood loss from being partially impaled in the stomach. And with that, you finish up in this parade. No, your parents get wind of what is happening with you all. They gather around you all in a state of panic and shock, and then an ambulance shows up, pushes its way through the parade, and the two of you, yourself, Tyler, and Grace, along with your parents, one parent each, hop in the back of an ambulance and head off towards the hospital. Don't think we need to go into much detail of what happens. You essentially go to the hospital and, they patch you up the best they can. You get wind that Grace is going to be okay. She suffered a lot of blood loss. She has a lot of internal bleeding. They're going to keep her in here at least overnight, if not longer. But you are released later that night at around 11 p.m. So between 9 and 11 p.m. the rest of you all head home. Is there anything you wanted to do while Tyler was in the hospital getting medical treatment?
I would have made Dad, and I'm pretty sure my parents, who basically look after Tyler all the time, would probably be going to the hospital as well.
All right,
to visit or wait. Or...
Yeah. You and your parents, they rush off and they bring you to the hospital so you can go in there. And you get in there and he's conscious, and you're able to go in and talk to Tyler, but you don't get much of a chance to talk to him because, the parents are there, the doctors, they're doing their thing, because his wounds are pretty significant, but not life-threatening at this point, especially after getting this medical treatment. Whereas you're just hearing about Grace down there and what she's going through, but yeah. I will say now, Crystal and Izzy, you get home, and of course, we'll start with Izzy. Your parents will approach you and ask what happened. What happened there?
We were looking for... Mrs. Whitaker asked us to look for Grace because her mom was really upset that she couldn't find her. So we were all going together and we were looking in the alleyways because she wasn't on the street. And there was a man dressed as Santa in the alleyway, and he swung at Grace and he bit Tyler.
Bit?
Yeah, he bit him on the neck and the face. He's in the hospital.
Oh my. What kind of sick madman would do that, and of all days to do it? Unheard of. And they're like shocked and, stunned by it. Crystal, when you return home, you return home with your mother. Your father rushed up to check to see if he would return home, but with you being in an okay state, you see your two parents mumbling, talking off to the side. They decided that your father would still continue to stay on his float and she would bring you home. So you go home with just your mother and your younger brother, ending the parade a little bit early before it was over. But you make your way back home, and then she asks you the same thing. What happened?
We went looking for Grace, and there was this man, I think he was a man, I don't really know. He was wearing a Santa suit, but he looked. It's hard to explain. But anyway, he attacked Tyler, and it was. I don't know, Mom.
And she's also in shock. She comforts you and just starts to explain to you there's a lot of bad people out there. You shouldn't be wandering in dark alleyways, even though this is a peaceful town. You never know, what could happen, right? That kind of thing. And you get comforted by her as well. Now I'm going to say, all of you, as you have a bit, the adrenaline wears down, the night goes on, you're obviously not going to go to sleep very early tonight with what just happened. So by about 11 p.m., as Tyler and Gadget, you're in the hospital, and the other two, Izzy and Crystal, you're probably lying awake in your bed, eyes wide open, staring at your ceiling. After getting a shower, getting cleaned up or whatever. You
Definitely.
all start to reflect on, like, you can't get the image of whatever that man was out of your head. And as you think about it more and more, with all of you, it seems that for some reason you feel like you recognize that man, but you're not sure from where. And you can't put a finger on it at any point.
I feel like when nurses come in, I start asking them if he needs or has done any of the procedures I heard mentioned on MASH. But I'm just listing them off. Just the weirdest things. Because I don't really know what they are. You know, medicine's not really my thing, but I just know procedures and doctors and war surgeries.
So at first it's cute, but quickly the medical staff and nurses get irritated by you as you try to tell them how to do their job. So after a little bit, they're like they kind of shoo you out of the room to let them work. Only a little bit later are you able, after all the work is done and they move on, that you're able to go in and talk to Tyler if you want. Otherwise, you would only get a brief conversation before your dad's going to take you home for the night, especially if it's getting late, right? So.
Yeah. Is Tyler getting any intense cravings for milk and cookies?
Nope, just blood.
You really want to be a zombie Santa, don't you?
No. This is just what I was going through. I was like, wait, did Henry turn into a Santa? Tyler turn into a Santa? That was just funny.
So good.
Yeah. It's a negative.
Okay. I feel that's like a lingering thought in the back of like Tyler's mind, but yeah, no.
Okay, maybe we will. It is the end of the day, and after that, I think it might be a better place to wrap it up there. All right, everybody, the next episode will be here on the screen if it's available at this time. Otherwise, if you enjoyed it, be sure to hit the like button, comment down below, let me know your thoughts on the adventure, share this with your friends if you want to help this channel grow, and as always, stay in the light.